everyone, welcome back to our Book of Sorrows series. Today we are in Act 9, Enemies Past and Future. And as the name suggests, we will begin wrapping up this literary expedition with a discussion on the main conflicts in our cosmic play. If you would like to join in on the live discussion of the lore within Destiny or participate in our chat raids, as you can see in the video right now, check out the Dames of Destiny channel and now the Safe Gamers channel. Every Wednesday evening, we have a pretty lively discussion on lore happening, especially last week. It was absolutely amazing, the discussion we had after the video. So, all right, let's grab our grimoires and find a nice, beautiful view as we find our enemies. Last week was an exciting week for us, and if you missed it, make sure you go back and check out Act 8. We talked all about the Vex and their encounter with the Hive. Crota accidentally let the Vex enter Oryx's throne room, and during the fight to take back the Sword World, the Vex Mind Korra was created. This Vex Mind copied sword logic from Crota, and you're going to have to go back a few videos to listen to our discussion on sword logic and how important that was. And after that happened, Korra also introduced religion into the Vex hierarchy. Now, why was religion introduced? Well, we had some theories last week, one of which is that Korra learned more about the Hive and became more obsessed with the notion that these worm gods could alter the state of the existence of being. We also looked at Vex society. The cards we read pointed to two distinct classes, the constructors and the warriors. Religion could have been used to manipulate the constructors' population, which was at the bottom of the hierarchy, so the biggest one, uh, and to follow Korra and convert into warriors to fight against the Hive. It's also very possible that the use of religion here is what opened the door for the darkness at the heart of the Black Garden to establish itself. We ended last week with Oryx defeating the Hive Mind Korra and crushing any major threats to his rule. So this week, it's the beginning of the end for our epic play. Which could be a tragedy or a comedy depending on how you're viewing it. We're covering parts 44 through 47, so relatively light reading compared to parts in the past. And every good story has conflicts that move the plot forward, and our main characters have quite a few. It's a very common literary trope. So let's review who is our story is about and what conflicts they have faced to this point. Um, our story is following the rise of three sisters, Arash, Jiro, and Sethona. Under new names, they were transformed into Oryx, Savathon, and Xivu. They began on a planet called the Fundament, which was facing imminent destruction as a Syzygy, or a wave caused by the alignments of the moon, was about to destroy everything on their planet. There was also an issue of two armies coming after our three sisters to kill them because their dad was the king, they overthrew the king, and it's a whole lot of court drama going on there. Our sisters managed to escape and went to a place called the Deep, where they encountered the god worms. These worms gave them power, and through this power they were able to leave the planet. They began pursuing the traveler, which they were blaming as having set the moons in motion to be all aligned to destroy their home. During this pursuit, they encounter and exterminate many species and civilizations, but there's also a problem. The worms inside of them. The more their sisters end up killing, the more the worms need to sustain their power, otherwise the worms start eating their soul. So to counter this soul-eating problem, they created the Hive hierarchy to feed their worms through death. The sisters are also very competitive. While Oryx is away communing with the Deep, which is the head god, some shenanigans happens with his sisters and he comes back with a plan to have children to sustain his lineage and to cripple their sources of power. This doesn't quite work out as planned since our good buddy Crota lets in the Vex, but in the end the Vex Mind is defeated and our sisters are now once again on the hunt for the Traveler. So the Traveler is considered the god of lies, and it seems to be the ultimate nemesis of the Deep, or the head god. We have postulated before that the Deep is in fact the darkness talked about in the main storyline of Destiny. The Deep, through Oryx and the Hive, have created a genocidal machine, killing everything in its path to follow the Traveler and get to where it is. So why are they doing this? The Traveler represents everything that the Hive see as wrong in the universe. Order versus chaos, support versus competition, mercy versus punishment. The imperfect live for all versus existence for the strongest. Everywhere for the last 10,000 years, the Hive have pursued and persecuted those the Traveler has aided, which is why the Hive came to Earth's moon to plague us when Earth was defended by the Traveler. The final showdown in the Book of Sorrows happens in a place called Harmony, where the Traveler turned a dead star, named the Gift Mass, into a source of power, both economically and militarily. Ultimately, the Traveler is defeated by the Hive in the Deep. And while this isn't the fatal blow that the Traveler received while defending Earth, it is certainly a major wound. So throughout our story, the sisters have always been competitive, yet loving in their own sort of way. Uh, if anybody knows anything about the Hive religion, you know that people would view our sisters as like homicidal maniacs. To the Hive royalty, killing each other was not only a means by which they learned various strategies on how to defeat one another, but it was also how they worshipped their gods. Remember, death is the greatest praise one can give the Wormar god. Xivu is the youngest sister, the most militaristic, and she's also named the god of war. She's killed Oryx many times, and on more than a few occasions she ganged up with either sister to defeat the other. She's sort of the pendulum, whichever way she swings tends to be the one that wins. Uh, Her forces were the vanguard in the fight for Harmony in the Harmony system. After 50 years of battle, she is left in a stalemate with those forces until Oryx arrives, and then through their combined strength, they were able to defeat the Harmony Worlds. After this battle, Xivu leaves her sister because Oryx's power has become too big and constrains her own choices. So she shuts down the gates to her throne world and moves to a distant part of the universe. Now we're going to move on to Savathun, the middle sister, also called the Cunning One. Uh, Savathun has continually acted as if she should be the one in charge. In fact, she was the one who originally killed Oryx in what was thought to be a permanent death and temporarily ruled over the Hive. Throughout our story, she's used intellect and trickery to defeat or limit Oryx. Some succeed, some plans definitely fall on her face. Her position within the Hive is called the Witch Queen, and she runs a university of witches, so to speak, where she trains Ascendant Hive witches, and then that gets to train their own broods. In the Harmony system, she doesn't take the straightforward battle positions of Oryx and Xivu. Instead, the cards suggest she creates sleeper cells, or what they deem secret covens, in order to do something quite interesting: vivisect the dragons. Now, not much is known about the people of Harmony, or if they're people as we understand the term people. But the cards are very clear that the dragons exist in this world. The idea that Savathun wants to vivisect them, or experiment on them, means that they're new to the Hive as well. They have to figure out how to defeat this new enemy. One of the cards makes it seem as if the Deep called two armies to defeat the Traveler, the Ahamkara and the Hive. You can tell this because Xivu says that the gods alone should be theirs, and she hates the dragon's freedom. This suggests that the dragons also worship the Deep, independent of the Hive's religious system. Alternatively, the next card says that the people of Harmony turned to the dragons, and the dragons are what caused the deadlock in the battle against Xivu. This second view seems to align with other parts of the lore, which state that we made a deal with the Ahamkara and they betrayed us. They were the ultimate tricksters. Either way, Savathun completed some secret purpose through her experiments and her covens, and I think we will find that answer in Destiny too. So when the sisters split up, unlike Xivu, who completely closed off her throne world, Savathun just becomes distant. That means there's still some form of communication between Oryx and Savathon, and when Oryx was defeated by us, Savathon would have felt the death or gotten the message of what happened. This means that Sister Number 2 has come to take us down, Guardians. Just a bit of speculation what's coming up in our future. So now, let's move on to our card of the week. I think it's very fitting for defining the hive and what drives their existence. So we are going to be in part 47. It's called Apocalypse Refrains. This is our message to the things that we kill. A species which believes that a good existence can be invented through the games of civilization and through the laws of conduct is doomed by that itself. They will die in terror. The lawless and the ruthless will drag them down to die. The universe will erase their monuments. But the one that sets out to understand the one true law and to perform worship of that law will, by that decision, gain control over their future. They will gain hope of ascendance, and by their ruthlessness they will assist the universe in arriving at its perfect shape. Only by eradicating ourselves from all clemency for the weak can we emulate and become that which endures forever. This is inevitable. The universe offers only one choice, and it is between ruthlessness and extinction. We stand against the fatal lie that the world was built on laws of conduct may ever resist the action of the truly free. This is the slavery of the traveler, the crime of creation in which labor is wasted on the construction of false hopes. If you choose to fight us with everything you have, with all your laws and games. We will prove our argument thus. So how about that for a mission statement, guys? What do you all think about the separation of the sisters? All three of them going their separate ways. Do you think Savathon's going to come with her witches and her dragons, or her witches riding dragons? And what do you think is going to happen with Xivu? Do you think she knows that Oryx is dead? Put your thoughts into the comment section below or into chat if you are following us live. Next week is going to be the last segment in this series, and it's a very introspective journey we're going to take with Oryx as we discuss what it means to exist. So until next week, Guardians, happy reading.